It started, as these things often do, with a simple noticing. A new tenant in the apartment across the courtyard, 4C, the one with the large window facing mine, framed by those slightly too short, gauzy curtains that never quite closed properly. You moved in on a Tuesday, hauling boxes that seemed too heavy for your frame. I remember how you looked on that Tuesday. Delicate bones beneath the effort, dark hair escaping the style you had been aiming for that hasteful morning. A few strands stuck to your temple with sweat. I was busy watering the small houseplant on my balcony. You glanced up, caught my eye, offered a quick, breathless smile. I smiled back. That was all it took. It wasn't love at first sight. That's just a lie people tell themselves to justify the inconvenient. No, it was curiosity. A spark that caught dry tinder in my soul I hadn't even known was there. Who were you? Where did you come from? What made your eyes widen slightly when you looked at the city skyline from your balcony, like you were both thrilled and terrified? I had to know. At first, it was casual. Glances while washing dishes, noting your schedule. You left for work early, always rushing, coffee mug steaming in your hand. You came home late, shoulders slumped, sometimes carrying grocery bags that looked like they might spill. You rarely drew your curtains fully at night. A slice of your life was perpetually on display, the warm glow of your lamp as you read on the faded blue couch, the flicker of your television as it painted shifting colors on the wall, the silhouette of you moving through the rooms, brushing your hair, putting things away, standing still for moments at the window, looking out at the world beyond your little kingdom. Looking out, but never. I noted with a strange mixture of disappointment and satisfaction, never really seeing. I learned your routines. Mondays and Thursdays, yoga at 7 p.m. You'd unroll a purple mat in the living room space visible from my vantage point. Sunday was laundry day. You hung things carefully in the small drying rack on your balcony. Practical cotton underwear, soft-looking t-shirts, one particularly oversized gray sweater you seemed fond of. I was fond of it too. I noticed the brand of your detergent. Fresh linen. Clean. I learned your loneliness. The way you'd sometimes sit on the sofa, phone in hand, staring at it for long minutes before putting it down without making a call. The way you always cook single portions. The way you'd sometimes cry, shoulders shaking silently in the lamplight, face buried in your hands. I wanted to, not comfort you, exactly. To acknowledge it, I think. To let you know someone saw the weight you carried. But distance was my ally. Distance was my shield. I learned from your small joys too. The way you danced badly, wonderfully, when a particular song came on while you cooked. The way you'd curl up with a book and a mug of something steaming, completely absorbed. The way sunlight caught the gold flecks in your brown eyes when you stepped onto the balcony in the morning. A detail visible only through my binoculars. Yes, binoculars. Bird watching, I told myself. Urban bird watching, and you were the most fascinating specimen of them all. The more I watched, the more I knew you. Better than anyone else ever could. I knew you hated the shrill alarm on your phone. You'd smack it like it offended you personally. I knew you bit your lower lip when concentrating. I knew you favored your left ankle slightly, an old injury perhaps. I knew the exact shade of pink that flushed your cheeks in the cold. I knew you were vulnerable. The courtyard between us became a sacred space, a theater where your life unfolded just for me. The other apartments blurred into the background noise of the building. Only you mattered. Only your light in the darkness across from me. My own apartment felt like it receded, became merely a viewing platform, a nest. My life outside you ceased to hold meaning. Work became a tedious interruption between observations. Friends' voices became a drone I tuned out, impatient to get back to my window, to my vigil. Do you understand? I wasn't a monster. I wasn't lurking in bushes or breathing down your neck. I was present, a constant, unseen guardian. I watched out for you. That man who lingered near the mailboxes a little too long a month ago, I noted his face, his build. I timed how long he stayed. Ready, always ready, because I knew your patterns. I knew when you were due home, if he made a move towards you as you rounded the corner, weighed down with shopping bags, I'd have tracked him down to the ends of the earth if I had to. I'd have taken a pair of pliers and pulled every tooth out of his thick skull. I'd have cut his tongue out. I'd get a hammer and shatter every finger on his hands. I'd have gotten my hands on a gun and shot him in the kneecaps. No vital organs. Just pure pain. Then I'd have ripped out his fingernails and stabbed his eyes, and then I'd have put a bullet in his brain. He left before you arrived back home. But I was watching, keeping you safe. My presence was a gift, a silent devotion. I curated your privacy by observing it so minutely. I saw the real you, the unguarded moments no one else was privileged to witness. A deeper connection than the superficial chats you might have with someone in the elevator. Of course, there were escalations, necessary ones. To understand you fully, your Wi-Fi password was easy to guess. Your cat's name, followed by your birth year, gleaned from a discarded envelope in the recycling dumpster I checked one collection day. All of a sudden, your digital life opened like a flower in bloom. Your Amazon orders, your tentative messages to an old friend that always seemed to fizzle out, your hesitant searches for therapists in the area, your playlists, full of melancholic indie and folk that perfectly soundtracked my observations. It wasn't spying. It was context, filling in the beautiful, intricate details of the painting I was gazing upon. Then came the day you brought him home. A Friday night. You were dressed differently, brighter. Nervous energy crackled around you, even from across the courtyard. He was tall, with loud laughter that carried faintly across the space, hands that lingered too familiarly on your arm as you unlocked your door. My blood turned to ice. Who was he? What right did he have? I watched, rigid at my post, binoculars forgotten on the table beside me, my naked eyes straining through the dusk. I saw the bottle of wine you opened. I saw you sitting close on the couch, his arm draped around you. I saw you lean in for a kiss. I turned away. The betrayal was physical, a punch to the gut. How could you? After the silent communion we shared? This interloper, this stranger, he didn't know you. Not like I did. He didn't see the way your fingers trembled slightly when you were anxious. He didn't know about the scar just below your left collarbone, visible when you wore that loose tank top. He hadn't witnessed your silent tears or your terrible, wonderful dancing. He stayed the night. I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, the only light in the dim, mocking glow coming from your window. I listened to the muffled sounds of the city, straining to hear anything from your apartment. Silence. Then, finally, the soft click of your door closing as you left early the next morning. You stood in the doorway, wrapped in a robe, watching him go. You looked satisfied. That was the day the distance became unbearable. Watching wasn't enough. I needed proximity. I needed you to feel the weight of my observation, to understand the depth of my commitment. It was surprisingly straightforward. Your building's main door lock was faulty. A simple credit card slipped in just right, and I was in. The stairwell smelled of dust and mold. Your door, 4C, felt warm under my fingertips. I didn't go in. Not then. That would be crude. A violation. Instead, I pressed my ear against the wood. I heard the soft clatter of dishes from within, the murmur of your radio, the sound of your breath just on the other side of the thin barrier. You never said anything, but that was fine. I would take your silence over anyone else's voice. Later, I found something better. A loose floorboard in the poorly lit hallway alcove near the fire escape. A perfect hiding spot. I could be closer. I could listen. I could wait. I started leaving things. Small things. Innocuous. A single, perfect white pebble outside your door. A sprig of lavender tucked into the frame of your mailbox out in the courtyard. A postcard of a place I thought you'd like. A quiet seaside town. It was left blank. No message needed. You'd understand it was from someone who knew. Someone who cared. But you didn't understand. I saw the confusion on your face when you found the pebble. The slight frown at the lavender. The way you glanced around the hallway after finding the postcard. A flicker of unease in your eyes before you shrugged it off. You were missing the point. The intimacy. The frustration grew. The distance mocked me. I needed a gesture you couldn't ignore. Something that spoke of my profound connection to your essence. I waited for you to go to bed. I knew you'd be asleep fast. I chose your yoga night. I knew you were always so tired those nights. The faulty main door yielded again, and I went up the stairs. Then I picked your lock. Stepping into your apartment was like stepping into a sacred chapel. It smelled like you. That clean linen detergent, faint perfume, the ghost of coffee. Your presence was thick in the air. I'd journeyed so far and wide to this domain, voyaged across stairwells that formed mountains and marshes of trash, and knocked down doors and climbed in windows and listened. And now here I was in your apartment. There was a universe in that room, and in contrast, it made me feel like a scourger of toilets, a pillager of tombs. I moved silently, a shadow among your shadows. I saw the book you were reading in the arm of the couch, the half-empty mug on the coffee table, the gray sweater draped over a chair. My heart hammered, a frantic percussion against my ribs, not with fear, but with fervorance and possession. I didn't touch much. Just one thing. From the small, carved box on your dresser where I knew you kept your jewelry, a single strand of your dark hair caught in a tangle. I slipped it into the tiny glass vial I'd brought in my back pocket, just in case. A relic. A tangible piece of you. As I retreated, I saw it. Your hairbrush on the bathroom counter, filled with strands of dark hair. I knew what I was supposed to do. My offering. My proof. I carefully removed all the hair from the brush, leaving it starkly clean. In its place, I left the glass vial containing the single strand, centered perfectly on the cool porcelain. See? I thought, melting back into the hallway, the faulty door clicking shut softly behind me. See how close I can get? See how well I know your space? Your solitude? I returned to my window across the courtyard. Minutes later, you woke up. I saw the lights come on and saw you groggily drift to the bathroom. Saw you stop dead in the hallway. Saw you pick up the vial. Saw the color drain from your face as you stared at it. Saw you spin around, looking wildly around your apartment, then rushing to your window, peering out into the darkness. Your eyes wide with dawning, terrified comprehension. You looked right towards my building, right towards my dark window. You couldn't see me, of course. I am very good at being unseen, but you felt it now, didn't you? The weight, the constant, patient presence, the utter lack of distance that truly mattered. A slow, overjoyed smile touched my lips. There it was, that connection, finally acknowledged. The fear was regrettable, but necessary. It was the first real emotion you'd ever truly directed towards me. Raw, unfiltered, beautiful in its own patchwork way. You clutched the vial like a talisman against the evil eye, backing away from your window, quickly drawing those inadequate curtains tight, but it was too late. The veil was torn. You'll call the police, probably. They'll come. They'll ask questions. They might even patrol for a night or two. But they won't find anything. I'm careful. I'm the man who blends in, the quiet neighbor, the one who keeps to himself. They'll tell you to get better locks, maybe an alarm. They'll say it was probably just kids, just a prank. They'll leave. And you'll sit in your apartment, heart pounding, jumping at every creak, constantly checking the locks, peering fearfully out through gaps in the curtains. You'll feel it, that prickle on the back of your neck, the certainty that somewhere in the darkness, unseen, unblinking eyes are fixed upon you. You'll know, deep in your bones, that you are not alone, that you never really were, because I am here, observing, understanding, existing, closer than you can possibly imagine. And so, I watch you from afar,